The sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go.
Welcome back to Millers in Motion. As you can see behind me, we are hooked up and ready to roll. We had a blast at Dinosaur Valley State Park. After that, we came back up to North Texas for a brief little moment. And now it's time to head to Florida in August. It'll be hot, and there's a tropical storm. Why are we doing this? No, we are headed to Florida, but I am going solo with the dogs. Lauren had to get some work done while we head to Florida for the RV Unplugged finale rally. If you didn't know, I actually run in-person events like rallies and that kind of things. And so that's what I'm doing. Last year I ran season 1. I'm running season 2's rally again. So we're going to slow roll our way to Florida over the next 3 days. So come along, because we're going to get the heck out of Texas and head towards a tropical storm in Florida without Lauren. That part I'm most sad.
And anywhere we slow down, we are kings of the world.
We are in Louisiana, but I need to take a quick break. Also, it's foggy because the dogs like it cold inside, and every time I get out of the truck and it's so humid out here, the lens fogs up. So let me fix that. Hi again for a minute till it fogs back up. So we're gonna take a quick little break. I'm gonna grab some lunch and use the restroom now that we're in Louisiana. Fun bonus of having our solar system too is we're actually sitting at 97%, and I'm running the air conditioners while we drive down the road. Well, one air conditioner. So I want to limit it because I do think we're going to need it. It's not cool. It's very hot where we're going. And so I need every ounce of juice I can get. There's a chance I have to run the generator at some point too. So I only have our main air conditioner on in the living room right now, and that's just kind of keeping it nice and cool. That way when we get there, it's not ridiculously hot. But I do have the back turned off, the toy hauler space, only because it makes no sense to run with that. Because we kind of shut that area off anyway, so the door's closed. We're not going to use it in the evening. 95%, sorry, I just looked at it. And then I have the bedroom off, but it also cools really fast in the bedroom. So that way I limit how much juice I'm actually using. But we're also pulling in, like right here at the moment, I'm actually running the air conditioner because we're bringing in about 1,700 watts of solar. I'm running the air conditioner and charging the batteries at the same time. So, hooray, solar system. Okay. I've got my lunch, which is a Lunchable. Fancy. Let's get back on the road. So while we were at the 2024 Alliance National Rally, we got asked the question about kind of where we fit, and specifically kind of Love's truck stops. I forget who exactly it was that asked, so please, if you're seeing this, let us know, because I don't remember who asked the question. I just remember the question. So I'm going to kind of show you what we do at these Love truck stops here coming up, because I've got one in about 12 miles and I need some fuel. So let me start by saying, first and foremost, we always use our TSD Open Roads card. That's our fuel saver. We like Loves personally. We've just found they're a little easier to get in and out of. TAs are also really good. Those are kind of our go-to first options, and then we kind of work off of that. So as far as picking fuel stops, depending on who's driving, when, where, all that stuff, we will sometimes pre-plan them. Most of the times we don't. For this trip, I have not. So, but on our Garmin, we keep a little bit of a what's up next, and Loves is a specific one, and then travel stops is another specific one. So before we get there, typically what I'll do is I'll try and look at a satellite view. I do this at almost every destination. Now, Our Garmin, the 895, actually has something called Eagle View. What it does is it actually shows me a satellite view as I'm getting closer. The Love's truck stops, I'm not as worried about. I don't typically always check on these because they're pretty cut and dry because they're meant for truckers. But I will tell you that I first and foremost go to the truck lanes. So if you don't have an open roads card or another type of commercial card that you can get diesel with or DEF, you cannot get regular fuel back there. You navigate those truck lanes. So the one thing I'll also tell you is that, you know, the truckers are doing a job. So I do my best to stay out of their way. And then once we get in there, I'll kind of talk a little bit about like lane selection. And I'll pretty much I'll put the GoPro up on the windshield and I'll just talk you through how what my options are, what I'm choosing to do and why. And then we'll come back and review everything at the very end of the stop, not the video. We're going to have to wait for the whole part of the video for that, but obviously it's a long video. It's going to take days to film because we're going to Florida. All right. As you can see, we are exiting. The Love is actually on our left. It's the less ideal side of the highway. If you're going like westbound, I try to stay on the westbound side. That's not always necessarily the option. For this scenario, it happens to be on the other side of the highway, so we have to cross over. And there's tons of construction, as you can kind of see. So one of the things I start doing is just kind of start scoping it out a little bit, right? So, like, as I come up here, looking for cars and everything that are coming, I'm also trying to kind of get an idea of what's on the other side and what I'm getting into. From the standpoint of the Loves. And so it's actually going to be on my left-hand side here. And hopefully that truck stops all the way. So obviously I'm going to take a left at this light down here. The construction's leaving this less than ideal. I've actually been to this Loves before. It looks familiar at least. So as you can see, once I turn left here, looks like it's going to be a double entrance situation. So that's how most of them are when it comes to the truck lanes. So you're going to have an entrance that says cars or autos, and then you're going to have one that says trucks. If you're going to the lanes for the fuel, you'll go to the trucks. So, yep. In fact, on your left, they're kind of blocked by the shrubs, but you can kind of see where it says autos, and then trucks straight ahead. So we just keep on, well, trucking. Wow, this road is bad. So normally they're not this bad. This one's rough. For some reason, it's a little more tore up. So it looks like there's two truck entrances. I think that's mainly because there's normally like a heavy truck shop at a lot of Loves, so they can do service work. Sometimes they have separate entrances. Also, depending on how the parking lots are situated, that's also a thing. So as you can see, this is where trucks are staying the night. When I'm coming into these areas, I always try to stay in the middle as much as I can. And from there, I just try to stay out of everybody's way. What this one's going to do now is we're going to swing to the left, and I'm already starting to look for what lane I want to be in. Because what's going to end up happening is you've got a bunch of trucks that are fueling, and then you're going to have trucks that are also not, that are inside still. So that Schneider truck up there is to the outside. I'm going to take the inside. I'm actually going to take any one of these so this one's tail lights are on. So you see the one on the right has its door open. This one had its tail lights on, and the pumps aren't actually in. So what's interesting is he just hit his brakes. Oh, he just pulled up. That could have gone either way. That could have gone the way of potentially leaving after fuel. It also could have gone the way of a few other different things. So I'll hang on one sec. He's actually coming up to me. Hey, buddy.
The pump on the left side, that handle doesn't work.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks for that heads up.
All right. Yeah, I figured before you sat there.
Yeah, right. I'm the only lefty anyway, so
All right.
Appreciate it. So what he said was, he actually was super nice. He gave me a heads up that pump on the left, the left handle didn't work. So fun. And just by pure luck, this truck pulled out. So we are now coming this way. And we're going to scooch on around here. You got to be really careful coming through here because truckers will just kind of pop in and out in different spots and places like that.
Turn
But yeah, typically some of the handles will and won't work. You can actually see the one on the right doesn't work over here. So in some of these truck lanes, because truckers have such a much higher capacity, they'll use both sides. So you start on the left and you can go to the right and add, especially if they're completely empty. Now another thing too you can see right in front of us is that there's a yellow line up there. If you can see the bird, it's kind of hard to see on the GoPro, but so when you go in and you fuel, so try to be in this spot as little as possible. So for like us, we'll fuel up. I'll probably wash the windshield off using our open roads cards. Obviously the windshield washer is what I'm going to use for that. And then if I need to do anything else, go inside, use the restroom, we're getting food, anything else, I'll actually pull up and I will stop at that yellow lines, and that's where I'll kind of let those things happen. I still try to be quick inside, but at least you get out of the way so another trucker can come in and use the pump. So with that being said, I'm going to go pump gas now. Okay, fun little tip too. Gloves. I just keep a pair of gloves in my door down here. Sometimes the nozzles are rough. This is that scenario. Also, if you've never done it before, they have weigh stations. So it's been a little while since I've weighed, so I'm going to go through the weigh station. I know what I added physically when I added the solar system, but I'm curious what I actually added. Now, I'm not going to go over all of this right now, but stick around to the end of not just the video, but today. Once we get to our destination for the day, I will go through our numbers. But I'm going to run through the weigh station real quick and just see what it's like. So if you've never done that, typically, sometimes it's easy to make a loop, sometimes it's not. For me, I just have to pull right out there and then take a left, and I could do that without going on the road. Either way, go around and I'll come like I'm going to the truck lanes again, and it's right there on the left hand side. And then they have an app, so you can either push the button and go in and get a ticket and pay and all that, or you can download an app, and I'll show you what that's like here in just a second. Okay, so here's the app. It's pretty simple. It's been a little while since I've done it. It logs me in. It'll actually try to use if you've got your location services on right there, which it does. If for some reason it doesn't, there's a cat scale number on the number of the thing over there. And so you can do that. But once you get over there, you'll hit confirm and then you'll go away. So now let's get over there. As I pull around here, you'll kind of see over to the left there. I'm just going to hang to the far left side instead of going through the fuel lanes again. And if you'll notice, there's these yellow lines on the ground. If you can see them up there, you'll see them in a second if you can't. So on those yellow lines, you want to make sure that A, you're between them, and B, you can see how there's separations. So I want my front tires to be in that last box and my back tires to be in this other box, and then everything else behind it there. Typically, if you just pull up to this, you're normally pretty good. So from here, I will put it in just in case, 1124. So I'm confirming that I'm in the right place. It does its little magical thing here for a second. So after this, it's going to go over to our little screen. So our company, everything's under a Miller's in Motion, tractor and trailer number. This is more for if you've got like a lot of vehicles in a fleet. We don't have that, so we're just going to hit next. It costs $13.50, accept, and now it's going to weigh the request and all that. Okay, well, just kidding. I didn't get to do the scale. I was on it. I apparently never updated my credit card. And there was a truck behind me at that point. And so, unfortunately, I didn't want to hold him up. So we're just going to get back on the road, and then I'll weigh tomorrow at some point, or the next Loves, either one. But I need a minute to update my card information. So that was a big old whoopsie. Well, it's a little foggy again because of the cold inside, but there's a first time for everything. So we stopped at our favorite, Cracker Barrel, of course, in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and this is a first for me. I'm not staying. So it's in a little bit of a weird spot, and there's a couple of abandoned buildings, and there's like people hanging out in them, and just not good vibes. And when you're on the road, you have to trust your gut. The downside is that there's nothing close by. So I'm adding almost an hour and 45 minutes to my drive, and I'm going to take it all the way to Mobile, Alabama, and then I'm going to assess life. And I'm just going to assess the rest of my drive and figure out what exactly I want to do for tomorrow. So, no delay. I grabbed a snack out of the rig because I'm starving because it's dinner time. I took the pups on a quick little walk off camera just because I mean, I'm trying to get going here. So we're going to jump back in the car and head towards another hour and a half down the road. So yay. And I'm saying all this because it's important to know that if you feel uncomfortable RVing and staying somewhere overnight, like a Cracker Barrel or whatever, don't get complacent. Like, I just don't. I got bad juju in this place, and so I'm going to take off. It's adding strain. It's adding a little bit of an exhaustion factor to this whole day, but I guess the way I look at it is being an hour and a half closer than I was before. So anyway, back on the road. We are here, and it is so humid. It feels like I don't know if it's rained recently, but there's puddles, and it's just so humid and hot. I have 2 ACs on full bore and have for the last like 2 hours since we made our very, very first stop. So sorry about the camera. It's gonna fog up for a little bit just because that's how it is, unfortunately. But oh boy, was that a cluster. Well, we went from, this is our third Cracker Barrel now, so that's the first time that's happened. That's the first time that's happened where we didn't feel comfortable and actually left a Cracker Barrel. So I'm gonna trust my gut a little bit more when I'm looking on like satellites and that kind of thing. Those big LEDs went off behind me. So, but yeah, it's just one of those situations. I didn't feel comfortable, and I didn't feel comfortable in the second place either. So we went about 3 hours further than we're supposed to. Ended up being a 12-hour solo drive day. The good news is I only have like 4 hours tomorrow now. Originally it was like 6.5, something like that. So we got a fun one tomorrow. But for now, I am sweaty, I'm hot. I'm gonna take a quick shower. I'm gonna fix the lens one more time. I'm sweaty, I'm hot. The lens keeps fogging up, so I'm gonna take a quick boondocking shower and make some food because I got here, it's after 10 o'clock, so they're closed. So I'm gonna eat some dinner in the rig, just make a sandwich or something, and I'll get some breakfast in the morning because now I'm not in as big of a hurry. So I will see you guys in the morning. Night, night. Good, humid, almost Florida weather to you. It is early-ish. It's not early for me. It's actually 6:30. I'm up. I've showered. I actually slept really well last night, and I can't stress how important it is that that's because I left the first 2 Cracker Barrels. Those were crazy. I wish I would have taken more video, but to be honest with you, the first one, I legitimately was a little bit scared, and I don't get scared. There are cops running around the area behind it. There were homeless people everywhere. Just one of those situations. Just wasn't a good situation. There's broken glass on the ground. That's another thing to kind of look for. So we left and went to another Cracker Barrel. Wasn't better. I probably could have stayed, but to be honest, I was having a hard time finding a spot, not hitting tree branches and trying to get settled in. So I just said, you know what? It's not worth it. 30, 45 minutes down the road was this Cracker Barrel, and boy, am I happy I picked this one to land on. I actually slept good. There's not people running around. It's a nice area, like super legit. Like this, and I'll link all of these down below like we always do, but this Cracker Barrel was way better of a choice. Now, because I literally went almost 2 hours further, I ended up doing about 11.5 hour long drive day yesterday. Today, I was only gonna have about a 5.5. I now have like a 4. So I don't have very far to go. And we are officially doing a harvest host on this day, and this one's gonna be pretty cool. I'm excited about it. I wish Lauren was here, but you know she'll be back on the rig here really, really soon. But before we do any of that, the dogs are eating their breakfast inside right now. They've already been outside, and it's time for me, because I got in after 10 o'clock and they were closed for dinner. I'm gonna get some breakfast at Cracker Barrel. I never get breakfast. Believe it or not, Lauren's not the biggest fan of breakfast, so I don't normally get this. So bonus. And just like that, breakfast achieved. Good old Cracker Barrel for the win. Fueled up. Now back into that old RV so we can get on the road, get those puppers loaded up. And
Who's ready to hit the road? Best travel puppies ever.
we have made it to our next stop. We have been waiting to stay at this Harvest House for quite a while, and we're finally doing it. We've been told by so many people that it's amazing. We are at the Tallahassee Automobile Museum. So I just got it situated. ACs are on, dogs are situated. I'm gonna go explore in the Auto Museum, and Lauren's not here, so I'm gonna be in there for a while, more than likely. So we have made it down to the actual museum portion, and this is crazy. There's so much. For starters, the hearse that carried President Lincoln around and the gun that assassinated him. Why is that here? I don't know. It's cool. There's really no rhyme or reason to how everything's laid out, but here, this seems to be all like the 20s and 30s cars. And I gotta say, the cool thing about this is all one person's private collection, which is crazy to think someone's collected that much stuff. So this row, like I said, was all 20s and 30s cars, but then you come over here and you actually have, I mean, everything from Model Cs to Model As, again, back into the like 1910s, early 1920s. The amount of stuff in here is absolutely mind-boggling, and I've only seen a very small percentage of it. So over here, moving in, the Ford Thunderbird, 1957 Ford Thunderbird, a 55. I can't believe this is all one guy's collection. I mean, there's just vehicles everywhere. You can buy me a Mercury and cruise it up and down the road. All right, what song is that? Anybody? Alan Jackson. This is probably one of my favorite era of cars. Well, maybe not the Mercurys necessarily, but those. I don't know why. I just really like the way they look. If I was ever going to get like a retro car and it wasn't going to be like a sports car, I love these old Chevy like Bel Airs. Oh, so cool. This car is always funny to me. So this is a 2000 Plymouth Prowler. This was a mass production version of like a hot rod is what they were going for. Hey, I mean, if you have the money to spend on something gimmicky, it's kind of cool, but other than that, not so much. So there's a whole upstairs full of other stuff. There's so much golf stuff over there, literally just walls and walls of it, and I'm not going to bore you with it because I know it doesn't do great, but I just spent like 30 minutes looking through that. There are more cars up here, but there's like collectibles and holy crap, so much stuff. It's almost like sensory overload. So this is actually a 77 Ford Bronco, but with the truck bed. That is awesome. So if you don't know me very well, I would do this all day long. This is awesome looking. All right, so downstairs is cool, but I actually kind of like what I'm seeing down here. This is my childhood. The Batmobile stuff just makes me smile. So this particular one, there were 5 of designed for the movie. This is technically number 2. They call it the Keaton Batmobile. What's cool about that is that screen used, and that would have been, so it's actually from Batman Returns. So the second one with Val Kilmer. Nope, that's not right. So it's actually Batman Returns, which is the second one with Michael Keaton as Batman, who is still my favorite Batman, by the way, except for that weird thing he did in The Flash. That was this new movie. No, the original 2 Batmans are still the best ones in my opinion. Then doesn't matter. But so cool to actually see one of these in person. And there's one from one of the other movies. After the Michael Keaton ones, they got a little weird. So there's one of the weird ones. And then obviously you have the Adam West version that's earlier from the TV show. And then you get into the Christian Bale and so on and so forth versions of the Batmobiles, which are cool, but they're not as nostalgic as all this. So what's interesting is, so this was Batman Forever, which was the one with Jim Carrey and I believe Val Kilmer. What's interesting about this one is the Batmobiles they made in the movie were not drivable. So they made drivable replicas when they promoted the movie. This is one of the drivable replicas. So far, the only screen use things is the Keaton Batmobile, at least to the best of my knowledge. I'm still reading plaques. So this Batmobile is a replica. It would have been of the 1966 Adam West version of Batman on TV, but this one is a replica, so it's never screen used. This feels like it could potentially be a weird haunted house thing. What the? Oh, it's like those little replicas. My granddad used to do that. And then, like, this is just kind of random stuff. So, like, Moon, Space Fantasy, Space Stallion. It's like a stamp or something. I don't really know, but like coins and just random memorabilia. Knives. All right, this is a little much. I got turned around. Help. Okay, let's be honest here. This one is the one that murders you in your sleep. Yep, gotta go. All right, well, that was the Tallahassee Automobile Museum. Really cool collection of stuff. Very random and all over the place, but some really cool things. There's actually a few things out here that I'm not going to show you. There's like a replica TIE fighter out here. Not really sure how that ended up out here, but I am headed back to the RV. I need to relax. I drove way too much yesterday, so I need to chill a little bit, but I wanted to show you kind of how it is from a Harvest Host perspective too, real fast before we get into anything else. Spoiler, I love it. All right, so for frame of reference, there's the actual Auto Museum, which I didn't ask, but it has like the feed store grain logo on the side, so I wonder if that's what it used to be. I don't know. But so you can see where those cars and vehicles are going by way over there. So that's the entrance. You pull in around here, and then what they ask you to do is go check in before you go over to park where they have you park. So what I did is I just pulled right here on this curb because there was no way I was getting in and out of this parking lot. Ran inside real quick, chatted with them. They gave me directions. And you pull over here, and in the distance, you can kind of see the RV out there. All right, so I'm just much closer now, but I'm on that same street, and you can see our RVs over there. There's this Winnebago Class A here. So this road continues down, and then you have a little turn in right down there. I will tell you that if you're a bigger rig, it's tight. It's doable. Obviously, I got in. But if you're not okay taking curbs and that kind of stuff, you have to take it pretty wide and just be kind of aware of it. So I'm going to cross the street, but when you do pull in, they give you a little map, and they pretty much let you camp anywhere over in those trees over there, along here, and then also on the other side, kind of where we are. So I went over there because I knew I'd probably have to run my generator because it's so hot a little bit, and I didn't want to bother these people. And I met them. They're very, very nice. That's one of the bonus to Harvest House is typically everybody's super nice. So that is the Tallahassee Auto Museum. And I will tell you from a Harvest House perspective, I mean, I'll tell you more in the morning after I try to get some sleep here, but so far I love it. It's wide open. The ground is actually fairly level. I was more level here than I was at the Cracker Barrel last night. And because of yesterday's drive day, I got here super early. So I have like all day. Like the world's my oyster. I don't know what to do with it. Actually, I do know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to make some dinner. I'm going to relax a little bit. Maybe take a shower. So I'm going to chill for a little bit. And if anything comes up, I will definitely show you. Well, good morning. It is our last travel day here on our way to the RV Unplugged Rally in Florida. We are in Florida, but we're in Tallahassee. This was my favorite non-Cracker Barrel overnight stay. Again, the thing I love about Harvest House is that, I mean, look at all this room. This entire field, plus over there under those trees, just tons of space. 10 out of 10. The museum was cool. I wish that you could come in later at some places like this. That's the only downside for us is because we do our crazy 10 to 12 hour days. You know, it's just difficult coming in later at night. But we are back on the road and to our final destination, onward to Camp Margaritaville. Ooh, margaritas. Well, we have made it to Camp Margaritaville for the RV Unplugged Rally. I know I've said that a lot, but we're here. I'm not going to show you the site and all that stuff. We've been here before. You know what it is. We love this campground. It's, again, we prefer to boondock and be off by ourselves, but if we're going to go to a campground, this is it. You can see the pavilion over behind me. That's where we're going to be doing the entirety of the rally. As you can tell, I'm sweaty and it's hot. And I'm a little tired and I'm preparing for a tropical storm and all those things. So this is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This next video is going to be interesting because it's Lauren flying solo down here and I got to go pick her up tomorrow night. And then after that, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the rally, not just what we're doing here, but also some of the events and some of the planning that goes into it. So if you're curious about what goes on behind the scenes during something like the RV Unplugged Finale Rally, you're going to enjoy that video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye, Mom.